Hey guys, what's up? I'm Rick, this is Nikki, the channel is Rick's Flix, and the video is Halloween Horror Nights, what we know so far, ... Okay guys, so this video was actually a suggestion from the viewers, Francine, Orlando, and Camille, when they requested our welcome pack, which by the way, I'll have links in the comments below and in the description. They wanted a video on Halloween Horror Nights. So, without further ado, let's walk around the park and talk about Halloween Horror Nights. Okay, Nikki, this year, Halloween Horror Nights 2018, there's gonna be 10 haunted houses, right? 10 of them, most ever, 5 scare zones, and 1 powerhouse show. And guess what?
What?
It's all themed for the 1980s.
Heck yeah, man.
All 80s themed.
Yeah, we're products of the 80s, so it's perfect for us.
It's a perfect marriage.
It is.
Can't wait, so excited.
Yes.
Since we are excited for Halloween Horror Nights, now I've never mentioned this on camera. Some of you already know, but I do have a new online store of theme park merchandise. And I've just added Halloween Horror Night t-shirts. So I'll leave a link in the description. Go check out those Halloween Horror Night shirts. We'll be adding more as we learn more about the event.
Right.
But come prepared. Okay guys, let's go ahead and talk about the 5 scare zones because we know everything about those right now. Yes. They've announced everything with the scare zones. So I'll read you what Universal has to say about it and we'll get our reaction to it.
Okay.
All right, here we go. First up, we have the Harvest. An old barn is the setting of every kind of horror. Its walls are decorated with ominous objects and the images from each haunted house hinting at the horrors to come. Now this barn is not abandoned as it initially seems, and by the time you realize what lies within, it will be too late. Foul creatures lurk within, ready for a harvest of flesh and screams. So there you go, Nick, the Harvest, the first scare zone we're talking about. What do you think, an old barn?
Yeah, I think it might be kind of cool. I mean, who knows what's inside this barn?
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
Yeah, I'm interested to see.
I bet there'll be hay. Next up for the scare zones, we have Twisted Tradition. Traveling through the forest of Central Park, where an ancient evil will be awakened. Halloween has transformed into an abomination with rotting pumpkins fused with decaying human flesh. Try and escape the grasp of these crazy beings with nothing but the light from a rotting jack-o'-lantern to guide you. Okay, Nikki, Twisted Traditions. What do you think about that description from Universal?
Sounds gross.
And I bet that's going to be.
Flesh. Whoa.
I bet it's going to be in the same spot where they had Trick or Treat last year because it did mention Central Park.
Oh yeah, it's probably
Yeah, and since it has to do with like rotting pumpkins and stuff like that, they could probably use some of the old props, all those jack-o'-lanterns they had from last year.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
So it'll probably be a fun zone.
Yeah, sounds gross. Oh.
So next up at number 3, so this is an original, it's Vamp 1985 New Year's Eve. And this is what Universal has to say about it. Before the countdown to midnight has started, it is clear the party has already been crashed, and the streets are running red with blood. You'll enter what looks like to be your typical New Year's Eve bash until it's too late, and as the ball drops, fanged punks and big-haired vamps will start their feeding frenzy.
Does that remind you of like the Lost Boys or something?
Maybe.
You know? It reminds me of the Lost Boys with, you know, fanged punks, you know? Vampires, you know, with the big hair.
1980s big hair.
Yep, exactly. That's why I think it's the movie The Lost Boys.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like it's loosely based on that.
It's been a while since I've been chased around by some big-haired women. Okay, Nick, what are you saying right now? We were off camera and you were saying you want to include some old pictures of us from the 80s?
Yeah, I want to show people what like big hair was for us in the 80s.
So like right now, I should be putting up a picture of you with your big hair and me with my mullet.
Yes.
All right. Yes. We'll see if that really happens or not.
Honestly though, I was younger in the 80s, so we'll use a 92 example.
Okay. So scare zone number 4 is the first of our actually like bought themed scare zones from Universal, and it's the Revenge of Chucky. And here's what Universal has to say. Chucky is back and he's creating chaos in the streets during a toy fair that's turned lethal. At this festival of toys, Chucky has twisted these playthings into new nightmares. Chucky himself rules this zone as he commands his minions to carve up some horror.
I wonder how they're gonna have Chucky running around.
I don't know, but you know, Child's Play was first out in 1988, so it does go with the 1980s theming of this event.
Okay.
So, I don't know, I mean, because Chucky's really small.
I know, right?
It'd be interesting.
It's a toy, so.
But it's a toy fair, so there'll be other little toy creatures running around chasing you, Nikki.
Yeah, maybe it doesn't have to be like I'm thinking of the wrong size. You can have, you know, smaller scare actors.
Yeah,
for
I don't
that
know.
with toys. I don't know, that's really cool though.
There's only one way to find out, and that's to attend Halloween Horror Nights.
Yeah.
And scare zone number 5. My favorite scare zone, the one I am most looking for, is based on a 1980s cult classic movie from MGM. Killer Klowns from Outer Space.
No.
What's your reaction, Nikki?
I hate clowns. I mean, I don't know if anybody saw last year's.
Did you see last year's video of Halloween Horror Nights and Nikki and the Clowns?
All I do is run. I'm scared.
Oh my goodness, I am so excited for this. So, Killer Klowns from Outer Space. As you enter the domain of these killer clowns, the smell of cotton candy hides the fact that this will be all trick and no treat. The sweet candy is spun from human victims grotesquely cocooned inside giant pods of cotton candy.
Gross.
Try and escape the killer clowns, or you'll face the wrath of their cotton candy ray guns and turn you into a tasty cotton candy snack. So Nikki, reading that description, you know what? I think there's a good idea for a rock in there.
Oh yeah. Oh, because of his shirts. Go to his website, the Amazon store. There's the Killer Clown shirt that has like this, the cotton candy ray gun.
Right.
I'm gonna do that on a rock.
Yep, that's gonna be one of the rocks you do. But
Yeah.
anyway,
Because I'm not doing a clown. There's no way you're gonna catch me painting a clown rock.
guys, be sure to click that bell notification symbol because you do not want to miss Nikki being chased by killer clowns.
That's mean. You are so
I'm already thinking some good editing tricks for this, Nikki.
What? Oh no.
So there you have it, guys. That's the 5 scare zones we're going to have in HHN 2018.
Woohoo!
Okay, Nikki, as we stand in Springfield, the site of a scare zone last year, what scare zone was this?
The clown one.
It was the Clowns. So what do you think of this year's scare zones? What are you most excited for, most afraid of?
I think I'm most excited for the Vamps. You know, the vampire one.
Yeah, that one sounds cool.
With from, you know, totally big hair from the 80s and stuff. So I think that one's probably sounding like it might be one of my favorites. And then,
which one are you most afraid of?
Come on, that's obvious, right?
Yeah.
I don't even need to say it.
Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Yeah.
Can't wait. So it's hard to make out, but we can peek through the trees here and we can see some of the Halloween Horror Night tents already up. So no big breaking news, but it's getting close. They're already putting up the houses. Well, we can see the one over here by MIB a little bit better. That white tent right back there. Don't know which house it's going to be yet. Okay, Nikki, what were you saying about the scare zones?
Oh, that, well, you would think that the Killer Clowns would be, from outer space, would be at the Simpsons area.
Right, that's where the clowns were last year.
I mean, it makes sense, but
you want them to switch it up, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it would make sense for it to be there, but I kind of feel like it'd be predictable to be there.
Switch it up a little bit. We only know about the one scare zone because it actually mentions Central Park in the description.
Right.
So we don't know where the other scare zones are going to be.
That's right.
But can't wait to find out. Okay, Nikki, as we stand over here by the Fear Factor Stadium, boom. Bit of sad news with this year's Halloween Horror Nights. You know what it is?
No Bill and Ted's this year.
Bill and Ted's will not be happening this year.
Such a bummer.
So sad.
Yeah.
So you know what they're going to do with the Fear Factor Stadium?
With the Academy of Villains?
Yep, the Academy of Villains will be performing in the Fear Factor Stadium this year, taking the place of Bill and Ted's. You know, I like that show, but the fact that it's in Bill and Ted's old place makes me not like it so much. Yeah, I really like Bill and Ted's, you know that.
Yes, of course you do.
It was an awesome, awesome show. Maybe to come back eventually, who knows? Let it go on hiatus for a little bit and then bring it back with a bunch of fanfare. That's my dream, that's my wish.
Be cool.
You know, I almost forgot, you have some rocks to hide, don't you?
Yeah, I got 3 rocks based on 3 of the houses that we know so far.
Right.
And the Stranger Things rock, I will tell you, and the Sam rock, I'm probably going to do more. I have tons of ideas, so there's more to come than just these, you know, few that I did. I've got some really good ideas. So
I look forward to it. So let's go, let's maybe walk around and try to find a good spot to hide those.
Sounds good, let's go.
So what do you have going on here, Nikki?
All right, so the first rock we have is the Stranger Things rock. It's got the 3 kids kind of like in the moons kind of highlighting them, and so it's their silhouettes. And then you have the was it the Upside Down?
Yeah, the Upside Down.
Yeah, so it's supposed to be one of the houses, and I'm totally stoked about it. Totally looking forward to that house because I'm a big fan. The next one is Sam. It's the first kind of halfway scary rock I've ever done, and I really love it. Like, I'm having a hard time parting with it, to tell you the truth. It turned out really good.
Okay, and the last one we have here is Patient Zero, but it's an original, but it's a remake. They first did Dead Zone years ago, but this time it's Patient Zero, and they put the 80s spin on it.
Excellent. I can't wait to see it. It's gonna be great.
So good job on all 3 of these. Let's hide them.
All right, sounds like a plan.
Okay, Nikki, you've dropped your last rock.
Yep.
Hopefully someone will find those pretty quick, and they do. So if you're watching this video, just let you know, her rocks go within 5 to 10 minutes. They go that fast. But do you know what? Now that you're rockless, what is an artist without her rocks?
What?
Just a person.
All right, so.
What you laughing at? That's what you are now. You're just a person.
It's a quote from a TV show.
On Netflix,
on
not
Netflix.
Rick's Flix, it's Netflix.
Exactly.
Glow.
Glow, yeah.
So we were watching that show, and that was the announcer. He made that remark about a mother without a child is just a person.
So anytime.
And Nikki just dies laughing at that.
Yeah, it's because he relates it to everything.
Yep. What's a wizard without his wand? Just a person. Okay, Nikki, let's talk about the haunted houses, the scare mazes. 10 this year, the most ever according to Universal. Is that right?
That's right.
So we'll take their word for it. I never count every year.
I'm hoping what it'll do is it'll displace the crowds. Is that the right word?
Well, there's another house, so the crowds could be dispersed
That's the word.
among 10 houses instead of 9. So, you know.
Exactly.
It might shorten your wait by 5 minutes. I don't know.
Hey, it all helps.
So we actually have information on 4 of the 10. That's all we have right now at the time of this filming.
Right.
But with my luck, today they'll release like a bunch of new information.
I know.
And this video will be outdated already.
That's okay though, the more information we have, the better we get.
Yes, so let's go ahead and talk about the houses we know about. I tell you what, Nikki, let's start with the 2 original houses. Okay. The ones that Universal is making up themselves.
Right.
We've got Dead Exposure, Patient Zero, and we have Slaughter Sinima.
Yeah.
So first up, let's talk about Patient Zero because it's new, but it's kind of a remake of an old haunted house.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
So Dead Exposure, Patient Zero. So actually, in a previous Halloween Horror Nights, there was a house called Dead Exposure, but this year it's Patient Zero. So we're going to be dropped in the middle of Paris in 1982, keeping with the 80s theming, baby. The city lights have gone dark as chaos spreads unchecked. Hordes of vicious, flesh-eating undead are swarming the streets. The military is forcing those not affected to quarantine, and a vaccination is being given. It's the only chance to ward off the sickness, but there are major side effects. Blindness. You'll be lost in the darkness as the undead hunt you. An attack can come from anywhere. You don't have to remember the original haunted house to understand this single truth. They will find you.
Oh no.
So what do you think about that description, Nikki?
So hordes of zombies in Paris.
Right. Paris, zombies in 1982.
All right.
Sounds like a fun time to me.
It's interesting.
But you know what? You make any house fun.
I'm so glad that we cannot film in houses. I mean, I'm sure you're bummed about it, but man, I make a total fool of myself. I mean, you see me walking around the scare zones. You should see me, well, thank goodness you can, in a scare zone or in a haunted house. Forget it.
Right. Oh, that'd be awesome. I wish, just for that reason, I wish I could film it. So last year we did brackets to determine the scariest house in last year's Halloween Horror Nights, and we're going to do that again. But the reason I bring this up is because this is an original house by Universal. An original Universal house won last year. Scarecrow won last year.
That's true. That's true.
It beat the IPs like The Shining and American Horror Story. So you never know what you're going to get with these original houses. It could be the best house of the year.
Yeah, that's true.
But our brackets will determine that. Next up for an original house, we have Slaughter Sinima. Universal is taking these 80s B-movie monsters and creatures and putting them into one frightening experience. Oh, I like the sound of this already.
Me too.
It's showtime at your local drive-in. As you approach, you'll see the movie trailers of what you're about to witness, filling you with dread as you make your way inside. The smell of popcorn will be the first to hit your senses as you find yourself in a movie theater snack bar. But from there, it's all downhill for this double feature. In one film, you'll be haunted by werewolf bikers.
Oh, goodness.
In another, you'll come across a bloody, gut-strewn pumpkin patch. And did I mention deadly barbers?
Oh, no.
You'll find yourself streaming through this sinister cinema as you try to avoid becoming one of the snacks of the alien cannibals. Well, I'll tell you right now, Nikki, I like the theming of this one.
Me too.
I love the movies.
Awesome.
I love drive-ins in the 80s, 70s, and 80s, so it's gonna be really cool.
It is. It is.
I think right now, I mean, we only have 4 houses,
right?
But this one I'm really looking forward to as an original.
Yeah, totally.
Now, I have my favorite intellectual property house, and we'll talk about that in a minute. So the next house, Nikki, is based on a 1980s movie. There was a scare zone in it last year. Was it your favorite scare zone? Trick or Treat?
Yes, honestly, it really, really was. Oh my gosh, that scare zone was decked out perfectly. It was so great. I was scared though, and that scared.
Well,
I got chased in that scare zone several times.
It's graduated up to an actual house now.
Yay!
Not just a scare zone, a full-fledged haunted maze. And here's what Universal says about it. So, Trick or Treat. Sam is back and making sure we celebrate the holiday right. We're throwing you headfirst into the world of this cult Halloween film and putting you in the middle of all the grisly scenes and demented characters. These guardians of Halloween will teach you the traditions of the holiday as you find out firsthand the consequences of breaking the rules. With monsters around every turn, you'll need to pay attention or you'll suffer the ultimate fate. So there you go, Nick. Trick or Treat, your favorite scare zone from last year. Now a house you've got to be excited.
Yes, it's filled with a little bit of dread.
And one of those little characters, the guy that had the paper bag over his head with holding the candy bag,
yes,
he had a crush on you. He was following you around. I hope he makes a return this year in the haunted maze. That'd be awesome. And the last of the 4 houses that we know about so far is one we actually were hoping for last year. We love the Netflix, not Rick's Flix, the Netflix show Stranger Things.
Totally.
And we were like last year, oh my God, it'd be so awesome if they had a Stranger Things house.
Yes.
Well, wishes come true, baby.
Yay!
Stranger Things house is coming this year.
So excited for this one.
And here's what Universal has to say about it. Who's ready to enter the upside down? Get your waffles ready, Nikki. You'll faithfully follow the storyline, starting off on Mirkwood and then quickly moving inside the Hawkins National Laboratory, where things have gone terribly wrong. From there, you will experience the most memorable moments and environments from the show while being haunted at every turn by the Demogorgon. And of course, you'll step into the mysterious darkness of the Upside Down more than once, whether you like it or not, Nikki.
Excellent.
So there you go. I think our most anticipated haunted maze.
Yes.
Stranger Things.
Totally.
I've actually got several of these Stranger Things t-shirts on the online store. Go check that out. I'll probably be wearing one myself. You got one, Nikki?
Yes. Yes, I do.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? I might even have waffles before we come over to this maze. I hope they're selling waffles.
Goodness.
Right?
That'd be cool if one of like the stations sold waffles.
One of the food carts by that house needs to be selling waffles. Mm-hmm. But you know what?
Universal, make that happen.
They never listen to me.
Hey Rick, look what we're coming up on.
Yeah, it's the Coke Refreshment Center. What about it?
Yeah, why don't you do your shout outs now instead of the end of the video?
I like the cut of your jib, honey. Let's step inside and do it.
All right.
You know what, honey? I'll actually let you have the honors for the first one. It's actually a couple. Who are we going to share a Coke with?
Maxime and Vanessa. Thanks for subbing, guys.
Yeah, thanks, guys. And now I'd actually like to share a Coke with another subscriber, Kyle. Thanks, Kyle. We really appreciate you signing up and subbing us. And just for fun, let's do one more. Tony, this Coke's for you. Have a Coke and a smile. Thanks for subscribing.
Thanks, everybody.
Okay, guys, if you would like a shout out for us to share a Coke with you, just fill out that welcome pack form and in the comments, let me know you'd like a shout out and I'll add you to the list. Well, before we get to the mummy, walking by Transformers. Transformers are down today. This is what it looks like when it's down. Got the guards out here protecting us, making sure we don't try to go in. Okay, with the Transformers down and we're making our way over to the mummy, let's first stop into the film vault and just check out some stuff. Our favorite store. Okay, Nikki, so as we're inside the film vault looking at the Psycho merchandise, do you know what Norman Bates is without his mummy? Just a psycho. Just kidding, Nikki. He's just a person. So here we are, Nikki, at the Mummy with the new lockers, by the way.
Yeah, I'm excited to check those out.
And it also comes with new rules.
Uh-oh.
We can't bring like anything on. We got to put our phones away. Something must have happened to cause this.
Kind of like the Hulk, huh?
Yep. So it's just like the Hulk. The lockers work the same way with your pass. And we really can't, I don't think there's metal detectors, but we can't bring on like any handheld. So let's check out the new lockers.
All right, let's do it. Oh, it pops open, that's good.
Wow, I've got to say the lockers are a little tiny, Nick.
Yeah, this is a very small backpack and it just barely fits. But it's pretty deep though.
Okay, Nick, just got off the Mummy. What'd you think?
Always awesome. There was a huge amount of like spray this time.
Yeah, there was.
At the end.
Yeah. I rode with a bunch of like 15-year-old Brazilian girls. I think it was their first time. That's always more fun when it's first timers.
Well, I was sitting in front of you.
Oh, that's true.
We did single rider. Oh, they were enjoying themselves. I think my ears.
And how was the locker situation?
It was decent. It was pretty good. They have bigger lockers over to the side.
On the other side
Yeah,
from where we were. Bigger lockers.
So locker room protocol.
And
one person at a time.
Yeah.
Now, we don't need a party of 10 standing in front of
one
tiny locker.
Yeah, locker protocol. So did Brandon Fraser get his cup of coffee this time?
No, he still hasn't gotten it.
You know what Brandon is without his cup of coffee?
What?
Just a person. Well, congratulations, guys. You made it to the end of the video. And if you don't mind, we must have done something right if you made it this far. Go ahead and click that subscribe button and that bell notification symbol. That really helps out. And if you're so inclined, you want to help out the channel a little more, show a little more support, buy us a coffee on our coffee page. And with that being said,
don't miss the magic. Don't miss the fun.
Thanks for watching Flix, and now it's time to relax.